Pro Boxing Fans here with Ben Shalom. Ben, you're a very, very hard man to get hold of, but we're here. It's fight week. It's actually one day away from fight night. Just want to ask you first question. First of all, it must be very easy to promote a fight like this because you've got both fights, the co-main, the main event, big rivalries, big needle. You probably don't have to sell it as much as you have to with the other cards.
Massive rivalries, and it's what we want in boxing. Shields Marshall was a fight that people thought maybe we just would never see, and I think we're seeing it at the right time. And it's been building for years and years. As you say, you don't have to do much, and then to be added with this chief support, that's a promoter's dream as well. And it's the only way I think you could do an all-women's card. You need proper fights, and it's for me the best fight in women's boxing. I think it's a boxing purist dream. Shields Marshall, anyone that loves boxing will love this fight. And Mikaela Baumgardner, what an advert for the sport, and hopefully shows a bit of the future and where this can go. The best fight and the best, all the belts on the line, one winner. Yeah, unbelievable night to come.
You know when there's a good fight or there's good fights on the card, when you ask certain people questions and everyone gives a different answer. I've just had different responses. Some people saying Savannah Marshall is going to win, some people saying Claressa Shields, even for the co-main. So you know it's a good card. But let's talk about the main fight. What a fight, man. Like, this is the fight that's been brewing up for the last couple of years. Both fighters won this fight on the night. There's so many different scenarios that can happen. But what do you think in your eyes can happen on the night?
It's impossible to tell. I think the reason Savannah's confident is because she knows Claressa's never faced someone like her. The reason Claressa's confident is because she's never felt under pressure as a professional. She has grown and grown and grown. She is the greatest woman of all time in terms of what she's achieved, and no one's done 2 gold medals and 12 world titles in the time that she has, and she's still only 27. So they're both in their peak, they're both in their prime, they're both different fighters, and the styles just are going to blend perfectly. I wish it was 12 rounds of 3 minutes. I wish it was, because I can't wait for this fight and I would just love to see more of it. But who knows? I think it can end early, it can end late, it can go to points. That's what's special about this fight. Anyone that guesses, for me, is just talking nonsense, because it's impossible to guess what's going to happen in this fight. We don't know. We've not seen it before. We've not seen this clash of styles before in women's boxing. And yeah, that's what's made this special. And the fact that they've come in both bang on weight, both really confident, no injuries, nothing, ready to go, 100% believe that both of them can win. And yeah, impossible to call.
In the short time you've had as a promoter, where does this fight rank in the fights that you promoted?
The biggest achievement, because we've been involved in Savannah's career now. We've headlined her for the first time, and we developed her in the Newcastle, and she's grown and grown as a person. Her fan base has grown. We've seen that in Newcastle. She's the first, I think, female boxer to be able to sell tickets like that and consistently, and then bring such a huge support down to the O2 on Saturday night, and to give her the fight that she always wanted, in the terms that she always wanted, in the UK, on a card like this, with a chief support like this. To do all that, bring everything together, the promoters, and then to have what happened with obviously the Queen dying and passing away. It's been a monumental challenge to get this on, and I'm very proud of it, and it's definitely the best achievement, because I think it's an iconic thing that's happening. It's not happened before, and I think it will be remembered for a long time.
Do you want to talk about the co-main? The weigh-in was feisty, as was the rest of the build-up, but there was a kick in there. You know, it's sometimes we like it as YouTubers. We like to get the views. But yeah, just talk to me about that fight. What a fight, man! Yeah,
that's the one that's benefited from the extra 4 weeks, because people have got to see it properly, see how it's developed. It's amazing seeing them go up against each other. Again, complete clash of styles. 2 fighters going into this knowing everything's on the line, probably even more so. I think with Savannah and Claressa, I think they know that maybe there's a trilogy, maybe there's a rematch, that iconic rivalry is there for them. But for this one, I do think it's a winner-takes-all environment. Mikaela Mayer has been put on this pedestal, and Alycia Baumgardner has fought for everything. Come over here as an unknown and knocked out Terry Harper, and has sort of been catapulted to this position. And then the way they go at each other, I think Mikaela kicking out, I think she couldn't, to be honest, she was holding her belts and she didn't know how to get her. And yeah, it's good to see women's boxing with proper rivalries and proper depth It's never had that depth. It's never had that competition. It's had superstars before, but never this level of competition.
When it comes to female combat sport, I've always thought of the UFC being the pinnacle of promoting combat sport, MMA. We've seen big stars, Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey. We've got a few stars over there right now that got big following. How close is boxing now to being to that level?
I think after Saturday night, very close. We still got a bit to do. We still got a few more stars that we would like to build in the sport. What's great is that we have young talent now with Lauren Price and Carrie Sartingstall and Caroline Dubois and Shannon Ryan and the other girls on the card, Ebony Jones, Georgia O'Connor. There's a whole 5 years ago that when Savannah turned pro, there wasn't like a huge amount of talent coming through. So it's got a bit to develop, but we're going to see it now over the next few years. When Savannah turned over and when Claressa turned over, they couldn't have believed they would have these big nights. But now they can see it. The girls coming through can see it, and I think the more that come into the sport, the more competition we're going to get. We're going to be right behind it. The broadcasters are right behind it. We're now seeing the interest. It doesn't matter how much you try and throw at it. If the fans don't buy into it, you've not got a chance. But what Saturday night will prove is that the fans are bought in and are locked in for great fights and elite championship boxing of fighters fighting at the right time and the fights that they should take and for all the belts, and hopefully it has an effect on the men's sport as well. But I think it's not far off.
Talking about having an effect on the men's sport, we see a lot of promoters getting together for this. We've got Matchrooms, Alycia Baumgardner, we've got Top Rank, we've got everyone sort of throwing their fighters in. It's good to see, it's refreshing, and like you said, hopefully we can see that a lot more, even though there is certain movements in the men's side, a lot more in the men's side.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of ducking and diving and everything to get this on and bring it all together. Some more collaborative than most, but we obviously work well with the US promoters, and they've been good, and Mick Hennessy as well, and there's a lot. Yeah, it's good. At the end of the day, these are the fights to make. We wanted to make them. We found a way to make them, and promoters coming together is what it needs, because there's so many now, and there's big fights to be made, and this sport can grow bigger than what it is. There's no point everyone protecting their own patch. It's got too much room, and everyone will win if the promoters start putting the fighters in the right fights at the right time. Everyone will win, and it will just grow exponentially. I truly believe that, and it just takes a few to start doing it. Obviously, we started a good relationship now with Queensbury as well, and I expect that to help the sport, and long may it continue.
I do want to talk about certain comments regarding Eddie ended the interview saying he wasn't sure if there was any testing going on, and Claressa Shields had to sort of make that clear that there was, show some documents. What do you make of all of that?
Not sure what the comments, what purpose those comments are. I mean, everyone can read into that what you will, can't you? Of course they've been tested for the first fight, for the postponed fight. VADA's involved in most of the big fights that I've been involved in, and that's just how it is. I'm not really sure what I'm stood here doing, talking about drug testing with this fight. Elite championship boxing is something we should be very proud of. Let's not try and let's not try and mar it. Let's not try and bring it down. What are we doing? This is what the sport needs. I don't even know what we're talking about drug testing for in regards to this fight.
I do want to ask you, because you're a promoter and you're a prominent figure now in boxing, but last week we had a bit of a black mark on boxing. I don't want to talk to you about the fight itself or the fighters or anything else, but just give me your thoughts on the events and what boxing can do moving forward to ensure that we don't have to get to that point again.
Better regulation, more transparency, give the ball more power. Look at how we judge fights, look at how we look at the doping bans, look at how often people are tested. There's so much this sport needs. I'm hoping that was a watershed moment, because it crossed over into the mainstream and people could finally see sometimes what a shit show the sport can be. But I'm not throwing it and blaming any one person or anything. I just think the sport needs a wake-up call. It can be a massive sport that everyone can be proud of, and that's the one thing to come out of last week. I hope it gives us the opportunity to have a voice and not just be called, not just be doing it and people think we're serving our own agenda. It gives us hopefully everyone in boxing the platform to change, because there's a lot of people, from trainers to fighters to amateurs that are turning over, that want to see a change in the sport, and on many levels, and hopefully that can be the start, and hopefully we can help. We've got Sky, we've got a big platform behind us that are fully supportive in what we're trying to do, And I think over the next few years, maybe we can make a change. Small change.
Just a final one for myself. The return of Deontay Wilder also on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Someone that, you know, as a boxing fan as well, you got to love to watch him. Entertainment galore. But what do you reckon Deontay can add back into this? Because he's been away for a good couple of years. What can he add back into the heavyweight division?
Excitement, knockouts, everything that we loved about Deontay. At the end of the day, he's only lost to what people consider the best fighter on the planet. So he's still extremely dangerous. It's good that he's back. I don't know what to expect when you've been out that long, but he looks good. It's good to have him back, and he's a big fight for anyone. And yeah, he's lost, as I say, he's lost very close affairs to the best fighter on the planet. So there's big fights for him. Great to see him back. I will be watching that after this, 100%, and I can't wait to see it.
Actually, a quick one, because you're a boxing fan as well. He's called out Anthony. He wants the Anthony Joshua fight. As a boxing fan, forget being a promoter, would you want to see that fight?
Yeah, that is a proper fight. I'd love to. I think that's the best fight that could be made for AJ in terms of entertainment for a fan. That is the fight. Two monsters going at it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I genuinely think that's outside of the unifications of things, that's a fight I would love to see. Yeah.
Cool. Ben Shalom, always a pleasure. You give me 11 minutes of your time. It's been hard trying to chase you about this week, but you're a star. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.